Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. And it does it with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, most home sellers have a great deal of love for their properties, and sometimes that can translate into unrealistic beliefs, resulting in mistakes that could cost them thousands of dollars, or the house might not sell. So, what are the most common reasons that a Colorado house just doesn't sell?
Well, Richard, I did some research on this, and of course, I have, uh, experience in this arena. And the problem is, most sellers naturally want the most money, and sometimes they base their pricing decisions, and it is the seller's decision, by the way. It's not the agent's decision, but they base it on, um, either what they spent, the improvements that they put in their home, uh, what their neighbors sold for. There's a lot of different factors that come into their decision, how much they want to make their next move. There's all these things that happen. And you really can't rely on, Zillow. Zillow definitely has some pretty big presence online. I get that. However, they lost almost $1 billion overpaying for homes in 2021. So you can't rely on them. You can't really rely on the averages. You can't rely on the average price per square foot. That never seems to work out. And it's kind of difficult to rely on similar sales as well. It is a piece of information that you need to know in case your buyer is getting a loan, because that's what appraisers care about. An appraiser is a person that comes in, they're a licensed person in the state of Colorado, and they're verifying to the lender that whatever your contract is on your home and the amount that the buyer is paying is substantiated with similar sales. They have to prove to the lender that it's worth that much, because back during the meltdown, they had a whole lot of fraud going on and people taking cash out and just some crazy stuff that happened that created some issues. So that's why we look at similar sales. It gives you kind of a benchmark of what the market value is. But at the end of the day, the current market decides what your home will sell for. And I can show you that information if you give us the opportunity, and how the market decides on how you get the most money. So when I did some research, I had some fun with this. I found a really cool article about, when it's time to sell, what are the things that can cause a failure in the sale? And there were a dozen of them. Some of them I agree with, some of them I didn't. But the number one for sure is if the price is too high. And the market's going to tell you right away if you're wrong. It'll tell you by lack of showings or feedback of weird stuff, and to be honest, it doesn't matter how good the marketing is. If it's overpriced, it's just not going to sell. Or you could one of the things that they put in there is if you miss the peak of the market. Well, that's just ridiculous. I don't agree with that statement, because the truth is, it doesn't matter when the peak, yeah, we had a boom back in 2021 in the first half of 2022, and the prices were a little bit higher, but the interest rates were less than half of they are right now. And it's all about affordability for buyers. If they can afford it, they love the house, they're gonna pay for it, right? But so I wouldn't worry about timing or the current market. You have to deal with the current market right now when you're selling a home. So if you missed a window, a lot of people fear that and they think, oh, well, I want to sell my home in the winter because of X. That's fine. Don't worry about it. We sell homes year round. In the last 3 years, I think one of my biggest months for sales was December. So believe it or not, we sell homes every single month. So don't worry about that. If you happen to have a specific problem about your home, sometimes that factors into it. A problem would be like a broken thing, a material defect of the home. Some things you cannot overcome. Like I was showing a house just a few weeks ago where it was a really cute house. It was in good condition. Just one problem. It was a big problem. The whole front half of the house was running downhill. Like if I put a marble on the tile floor, it wouldn't stay still. It would roll downhill really quickly. And, this buyer looked at that as, wow, that's a really big ticket item to repair. So unfortunately, the buyer had to pass on that home. It is possible you could work with the wrong buyer, and that could cause a home not to sell. That does happen on occasion. Just a few months ago, we had a buyer that was presented to us. They made a good offer. It seemed like they were able to be approved. I talked with the lender to verify they were approved for the loan, but he was getting a new job. He had had the job offer, but it hadn't been completely finalized yet. And the lender approved the loan based on contingent on them getting a job offer. So it was kind of a done deal, but not ready. So finally, 5 weeks into it, the offer letter comes. Whoops, he's got to get a security clearance, a super duper top secret with special information type security clearance. And that could take months. And that when we found that out, it was like, well, we don't know how long this is going to take. You can't tie up a home that long. So unfortunately, it was the right buyer. It was the wrong timing for that buyer. They probably could go on to buy a home after that. But what was interesting to me was that the buyer's agent didn't know anything about it, didn't know where he was going to work, didn't do his due diligence. That was after he wrote the offer. And that's unfortunate, but it's how the system works right now. The state does not require the agent know anything about the buyer's ability to perform. So that's why we have to make sure that job is done. If the home is deeply unconventional, well, I wouldn't worry about that. There's a price for everything. Sometimes the staging can be a miss. I showed a home last weekend where their idea of staging, now the kitchen and that area looked pretty good, but in the bedrooms, I don't even know why they bothered. They put 2 yoga mats in the middle of the floor. It didn't do anything for me. Curb appeal, very, very important. Most people spend most of their time looking at curb appeal, so you have to get that right. It's really tough this time of year because if we get one more freeze, all the green buds are gonna, fail and have to start again. But curb appeal, at least get the home ready with, nice fresh mulch in the yard. Make it look good because buyers, if they like what they see online, they're going to drive by. And if they don't like curb appeal, they're going to keep driving. Also, if your photos aren't good, overall, the industry has gotten a lot better at that, thankfully. But there are still some listings that go on the market where the photos look just absolutely awful and they shouldn't really be shown. The whole idea behind marketing is to attract the buyers, not repel the buyers. Or what if the listing description doesn't hit the mark? I actually I took over a listing from an agent a few months ago where if you go down in the basement of this home, it did have a big crack. It was a crack through the foundation wall, and they had it under contract with the other agent. The deal fell apart over this crack. So the seller went and got a structural report, and the structural engineer said, it's fine, it's normal wear and tear for its age of home. So what does the agent do with the first sentence of the description? A structural engineer report is available. Well, most buyers are going to pass that listing by just based on the description. They're going to be, oh, it's got structural problems. Maybe I shouldn't go look at it. So again, marketing is for attraction. You can always overcome objections once they get there. But anyway, that was a problem. It was a marketing issue. Or if you get bad advice from the agent, I've seen that before where the agent doesn't give you good advice about pricing, or if they don't fix important issues, like if they fail to fix something that really is a problem. Like let's say you go into a house and the flooring is a big deal. The carpet looks really tired. Other than that, it's fine. What happens almost internally with the buyer is they're thinking, okay, I like this house, but I'm going to have to spend $3,000 to $5,000 replacing the carpet. I don't have that extra cash. I'm going to move on and not buy that home. So it's really important how you approach marketing, and not every agent really studies this. We do because we know it's part of what we do, And we have to get that right because you don't want to be rejected online. You never know who that is going to be. Pricing a home realistically always gets you the most money. And sometimes you can price a home just right so you can get the most offers. But if you actually put out their bad images, you're going to get rejected. The buyers won't even spend their time to come look at it if it's not the right price and if it's not marketed correctly. And doing this on your own is difficult to learn. So if you are thinking of making a move and you want to know what your home will sell for in the market and how to get this right so you don't fail at the sale process, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with the host of the program, that's Barb Schlinker, of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you are thinking of making a move, just call Barb, 719-301-3900, or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Barb, it's time for the lightning round of some of your hot new listings. What do you have?
Absolutely. Well, I have a beautiful 2.5 acre lot on Boulder Lane up in Woodmore Mountain. Oh, if you want to build and have fabulous views and a getaway that's close to town, this is it, priced at $129,999. Also, a fabulous townhome close to Peterson Air Force Base. It has 2 master suites at $354 on Riley Grove. A beautiful home on Powers Road, priced at $379,999 on 35 acres with a huge detached garage. I also have a fabulous home on Snowbird Drive in the mid-5s. This home is completely remodeled and looks amazing. Also, another home on Soapweed, that's out in Calhan. It's in the mid-4s. It's on 35 acres with an awesome barn in great condition and fresh carpet. And then I have another beautiful patio home on Wind River, priced in the low 5s. This thing is spectacular, completely move-in ready. I have a gorgeous 2-story close to the Air Force Academy on Allegiance Drive in the low 6s. And then 2 homes out in Peyton, one on Gull Lane. This one has solar, main level living, and it's really configured to have multiple families in it at once. Lots of outbuildings, lots of fencing for your horses and all that. And then a beautiful home on Star Ranch Road. This home is priced in the upper 8s in the Broadmoor, and one more on a Cowie Way in Peyton. This fabulous home is at $674,999 on 5 acres in beautiful condition. So if you'd like to find out about all of our homes available, you can go to barbhasthebuyers.com or give us a call at 719-301-3900. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice. It airs every weekend. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Remember, you can see replays of this show on barbhasthebuyers.com, or you can listen to the podcast on all of the popular platforms, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, many, many others. Thanks for listening this week. And to reach out to Barb, again, that number is 719-301-3900. Have a great weekend, Barb. Happy Mother's Day to you. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Have a great weekend as well.